Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to show you LFOs inside Nambu. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are inside Nambu. The first thing we're going to do is to initialize a preset, and we're going to give it a bit of a drag and release so we don't have popping noises. Really nice. Next, we're going to start with a look at how LFO works. So we need to decide a target for the LFO in terms of modulation. So we are going to choose this coarse parameter, click on mode for a modulation, and you can see we have 4 LFOs here, and I'm going to add a positive because the LFO in modulation can be positive and negative, so I'm going to add on the positive side for LFO number 1, so that will modulate up and of course down depending on the waveform that you have selected on the LFO, the coarse parameter. And you can hear now the pitch going up and down based on the waveform that is shown here. As you can see, there are 4 different LFOs, which is really nice because it gives you a lot of different choices. Now, you can choose the waveform here. You just click on here, and then, of course, you can choose different waveforms as you prefer, which will have, of course, different type of modulation effect. So let's try different ones. It's really nice. This one is square. Really nice. This one is quite interesting. I'll come back to this in a moment, and of course random. Okay, perfect. Now let's go back to the first one, and let's close the selection of the waveforms, and let's go to the display of the waveform. If you click, you see where there are these vertical lines, they are separators like steps. So if you click on inside each one of those, click and hold, and you move up and down, you can change the scale like so. Right? And you can create a different effect, right? As you prefer. So you can create some gating effect as well. Really nice. And you can see, you can hear it's going up and quite a bit here on these 2 steps, okay? And then, of course, you can reset it, and it's quite nice because you can click, hold, and drag. It's almost like drawing on the waveform, right? And based on the different waveforms, it behaves differently. Let me show you, like so. On this one, you see, it changes the type, how it influences the shape of the waveform. This other one as well. You can change the amplitude here in terms of scale of that descending or inverted sawtooth there. Okay, let's change that to this one, to this square, and you can change and almost get down to 0. Well, actually, you can turn it down to 0 in terms of that pulse, okay, with that step in that square waveform. And this one is quite interesting. Look what you can do. It's really nice. You can do different steps like so, which is really nice. You can create random step like so, and then of course you can go to the random as well and change the level there. Here you have also a shaper for the waveform itself here, right? So let's see what happens like so. It's going to tilt it to the left or to the right like so, and that's quite interesting, particularly when you have something like this one, and see what happens. So you have different shape. If I double click to reset it, it becomes like steps. If I turn it to the left hand side, you can see what is happening is tilting it to the left hand side, or you can do it from the other side. And then of course you can change the step itself like so. So this actually is really useful to further manipulate in different parts of the waveform. Now let's reset these at the top like so. Here you can set it to monopole. You can see any changes. So in this case it goes to 0 plus the value of the amplitude of that waveform. You can hear here that it's going lower because it's decreasing as well below 0 in terms of modulation. Here you can set the rate, and you have different ranges. So the short one, you can see it goes up to 25 milliseconds, lower to 1 second, right? Then you go to the medium one, you can go to 1 second or from 10 seconds as well. So you practically change the ranges, right? And so you can make a very, very long one depending on what you choose. Next, you can adjust the phasings, and you can go by key here. When it is activated key, you can further adjust the rate envelope. I'll show you in a moment. You can go by 16 bits, also 8-bit, 4 bits, or it can be 3 rounds. Or when it's key, you can restart based on the key. You can also shift the phase. You can see it's shifting here. Really nice. And then, of course, if you have selected on key, you can adjust the rate envelope in terms of depth and time. So let's try. So in this, let's try this way, well, let's give it this amount of time. You can hear it starting to with a faster rate and then it's decreasing. Let's try the other way around. And then, so it starts slow and then it increases and the time is defined here by this dial. Okay, so let's reset these to the default values. And then here you have modulation level, which is really interesting. So you can decide the level. Down to 0, where you don't have any modulation. You can decide the modulation and influence from the mod wheel here. And then you can decide the envelope as well. This is really nice. So it's starting from low going up. So it starts from 0 or very low modulation, then it is increasing slowly. And you can do the opposite here if you reverse the position here on the dial. And of course, it depends on the time you selected. You see, it stops modulating because it starts at the top of the modulation in terms of level and then it's going down. And of course, you adjust that based here on the position of the dial, which is the timing effectively of the envelope. Really nice. Okay, as you appreciate, having 4 different LFO is really, really nice because you can, of course, choose different waveforms, but by LFO you can define them in different ways, then attach them to different parameters within Nambu. And as you know, we have multiple operators, different type of operators, which we have already gone through. So, goodness me, when you see the screen, the label MOD, click on it and you can attach modulation and you have 4 LFO. In the next video, we are going to have a look also at envelopes and then we are moving on also to sequencer and other settings. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.